out,
Nyeri.
but they will still be able to get the mid-tier 2 it seems and continue pushing down the tier 3 tower.
Okay, what's worse than one ace? It's a second ace, right? They got
Right
a
after the first
back-to-back right after the first one, and it looks like Loops are just like, okay, we'll take whatever you're giving us, which is everything, and we'll continue to take the second time. And, Impunity are like, hey, if you die, we're going to die together. It's ride or die together.
Yeah, probably a bit overzealous at that point, trying to get themselves back into the game. They could have played across the map a little bit better. Don't look for fights so early on, because you can check the items of your opponents and you know that you are 4 or 5,000 behind. It's time to slow down the game, not look for another fight immediately after you just lost the fight.
Yeah, but I mean, it's an awkward situation right now. I mean, look at this. Sherry has 9.2k top across the entire game. Completely. I mean, so many kills already. He's 404. He is not the guy you want to be giving any sort of farm to. So, Loops right now in a great position.
Marco Polo, this farm with this lead is a crazy hero scaling towards the late game, and you don't want to play with that. He's just so mobile. He does so much damage at a range, and the pure damage also just melts through the Lianpo, melts through the main key. Tempest gets a kill onto Shaolin. The marksman is down here for the side of Impunity. They lose the mid-tier tier 3 tower as well, and things are not looking good here. 4 versus 5, net worth difference, no other way to defend except with their bodies here. They do have the Lianpo, they do have the Princess Frost to potentially turn things around, but they have to take an almost perfect fight.
Yeah, almost perfect one. And the Resplendent Revolver doing a decent amount of chunk damage onto Black. They're going to use the Unbridled Outburst. He's going to cut off the lane of retreat, trying to knock him out. And it looks like the Tremor Smash does go in, but it looks like Megumi's going to be down for the count. The base is wide open, the Dream Roll, but he just runs away. He can't even defend it, and they will take game 1. Loops looking very, very strong.
Talked about that potential, that aggressiveness that Loops can really bring to the lineup, and they turned it up a notch. They went from 0 to 100 in the span of 2 minutes, and they were able to just. That was the shortest snowball in the history of snowballs. It was it grew to the mega big heights it needed to be in less than 3 minutes, and Unity definitely could have handled that better. But still, props to Loops for not letting.
It's where Impunity trying to go in, and Loops is just like, oh, okay, we'll take this one out. We get an ace, right? And then they were just kind of playing standard again. They were jumped again, and then again, Loops is just like, okay, we'll clean them out again. First time, second time, however many times you want to come at me. But we're just gonna continue to clean you up. And Loops just cleaned up that game, and they just took an easy game 1.
Yeah, I definitely think that the loss was more on themselves rather than Loops outplaying them, jumping the gun a little bit. They had the better late game team fight. They had the better team fight. So why take team fights that you're not confident in and trying to force things? Maybe they saw that they were behind and tried to even things out with a good fight. But 9 out of 10 times, unless you have a perfect initiation, those team fights are not going to go your way.
The toughest thing about this is that Impunity was trying to force it, trying to do a team fight, and then they got completely thwarted, right? Yep. Loops had the answer for everything. My worry is that even going into game 2 and 3 is like, hey, if Impunity are in the same situation, do they go for it again? Is it going to shake up their confidence? Yep. I mean, I know that this is a long series; it's a best of 5, but it's something to consider as Impunity go on in this series alone.
Yeah, it might haunt them in the upcoming games. So they really need to reset. That's where your coach, your assistant coach, needs to come in and try to instill that mindset of one game at a time. Just forget the past. Try your best in the next game, and just take one step at a time. Like I said, it's a best of 5 series. There's still plenty of more games to play here. But they can't really let one loss create that division in the next upcoming games.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say one other thing on that post game. They're the stats of Impunity were all 0-3-0, 0-4-0. I was like, oh my god, this is like my rank game on my side. Like, this is the same KDAs. But let's go into a little bit about the actual stats here. If we're talking about the damage taken, I mean, or the damage dealt, Impunity side, really not too much. 47,000 from the Shaolin. I mean, he was kind of out of position at times, so that's not going to scale too much. But Loops, on the other hand, a little bit more balanced. Kank and, of course, Cherry just cleaning house, so to speak.
So much damage there from Cherry. It all started from a decent laning stage, followed by just the 2 towers giving him the lead, and then that double kill in towards the first base just gave him too much of a lead for Impunity to come back from. And in a short time, they tried to force things that wasn't what they were supposed to. That didn't give them a lot of benefits, and Loops just took it away from them. Jerry had an awesome game in this one. We see a lot of Marco Polo.
Black-nya juga.
Scale to the highest level, but he managed to.
Ini pertandingan Myanmar versus Brazil.
Totally agree with you.
Oh, yang kemarin yang ISG sama KG, Indonesia yang menang.
Even with those stats of not even getting a single kill, would have maybe skewed this a little bit more in favor of Loops. But again, for the first 8 minutes or 8-9 minutes, it was just pretty much steady state, or it was very even with Loops. Loops was not really doing anything, and then all of a sudden you can see these 2 giant humps here, and those are the 2 team fights that Impunity tried to take on, and that's kind of where it skewed incredibly in favor of Loops here.
Yeah. No kills in the entire game. Probably forced them, but it caused them to make that.
Ya akun-akun game.
Hey, we need to take a fight right
Hanya dia.
now.
Sampai 10 dia.
Yeah. Doesn't bode well for this. But the MVP for the first game going towards Nitty on the Zhang Fei. 2-0 and 10. I mean, we don't see a lot of support MVPs as well, but he definitely had a good game keeping everybody alive.
Yeah, support lives matter. I play support as well, so seeing another support player in the MVP column, great. And Mithy really showing how Zhang Fei should be played. So, seeing this one, you're going to see a lot of him in this one, just kind of protecting the team. But again, this is where Loops, if you're looking at what's happening, like, look at this. This is where Megumi went in for this, and Jerry had that fever barrage, just blew up everybody, got a double kill, turned things around, and it just went south for Impunity. As everybody got wiped in, all 5 members from Loops still surviving and just chasing them down. They don't really care. They're going to continue on and just get 2 aces back to back.
Yeah, I think they just panicked. This was the second fight they were talking about, the second ace that they gave away here from the side of the community. They were 3,000 behind. They haven't lost the high ground yet, and the scoreline was 0-5. Definitely much more the game, but they jumped the gun here and put themselves in an unwinnable position from there on. So, it might be the nerves, it might be still trying to get into that groove, and we might not see the same mistake happen twice there for the side of Impunity.
Yeah, and we've learned that Impunity, they lost game 1 against RQ the other day, and they know how to bounce back, right? I think that this is still one that's going to go hopefully more than 3 games, like unlike the last series. I think that this one will go a little bit longer because I see a lot more fight in Impunity.
Siapa? Cok, aduh maaf.
For him, but HOK, of course, Honor Kings, we're looking for the best creators out there that can understand the game, can teach the game, and can kind of show the ropes because it's very complex. You're seeing it even at the high level. There's a lot of mistakes that you might be making, and it's good to kind of get some of those tutorials and those guides and to see exactly how to play, like even the next heroes.
Absolutely, it is definitely look out for your favorite creators, and that's where you learn a lot about the games, learning from better players, more experienced players, and definitely look. If you are one of those creators yourself, make sure you apply to be an official Honor of Kings creator.
Yeah, definitely. It looks like the coaches have kind of given their coach speak. They're kind of preparing for the next draft. There's got to be a lot more pressure on Impunity right now. Again, loser goes home after this best of 5 series. I know Impunity are going to want to bounce back. They're going to figure out. They look at that. They're all very serious. All of them are just kind of worried about this next game. I think one of them has their head down, maybe in prayer. I'm not sure. But nonetheless, this is going to be game 2. Is going in. I know the ban from Loops here.
Yeah, never want to give the Hano to Impunity. He's an absolutely scary player to put his hands on. Is black on the Hano. They sometimes even play on the Clash, so very flexible hero. Loops takes Hano out of their hands, and Impunity will ban out the Mai as well as the Luna on their side.
Yes. Initial bans, we're gonna see, like, again, it's just initial. Okay, the Arlie ban. Okay, Loops is like, okay, we don't want Impunity to run that one. I don't think it was the greatest in the last game, but it's respect. Maybe you just don't want to deal with it because they did have to counterpick it. But Ashing, what are you gonna pick here first? Okay, Vidalia. Okay, we've seen that time again though.
Vidalia openings, especially when she's let true to the ban, is always something that you can always pick in, but it also leaves Lady Zen in the pool here for Loops if you want to pick up in the first and second of their draft. So just keeping things open for themselves. Maybe they pick up the Elaine here. Elaine hasn't really been the focus across both these teams, but they do pick up the ladies and pick up the Zhang Fei.
Match kedua, Cok.
Was the MVP in the previous game? Minty definitely had a great game for that, and when you pair that up with a lot of damage, but when he gets to the backline, when he pops his ultimate, that's when you know that why Zhang Fei is an absolute beast here. Lady Sun makes her debut today. We've been seeing a lot of Lady Sun throughout the group stage. Kind of have got quieter towards the later stages of the group stage, but Loops will pick her up once again.
Yeah, and late game monster. Lady Sun, we know that just a lot of potential. I feel like Impunity here picked the Princess Frost. And I always look at this as like a poor woman's Lady Jeanne. Like, she's just not as good in a lot of the different things. And I feel like she needs a little bit of a buff in that sense. But Lady Jeanne is just so strong. That's why, right? So it's going to be the mid lane here to counter the Lady Jeanne. I'm not a huge fan of it, but, they're probably much better than I am playing her.
It's funny because in Season 1 we said Lady Jeanne is the poor man's Princess Frost. So how the turntables after a single season, how things have changed in this entire scenario. But Loops banning out the Guan Yu and the Dharma, so banning out very aggressive Clash laners, and they are probably going to pick up a strong Clash laner on their own. So Iris of lane, it will be the lane being decided here for the side of Loops to make sure that they win at Clash lane.
Yeah, I like it. Elaine, I mean, you have that mobility, you have that, technically that meteor kill if you're able to kind of launch him up. And if you can get on the Marco Polo, he's going to have a rough time, especially if Elaine is able to kind of just control him. So you have a lot of options, and the mobility is key, of course. And it kind of rounds out with the Zhang Fei, who's somewhat tanky, and Elaine doesn't want it to be focused on. Right? So Zhang Fei kind of wants to be that guy. So it kind of rounds out that draft pretty nicely.
I think Loops definitely looking like it is a very good draft in my opinion. Impunity not doing too bad themselves, kind of missing a more tankier front line. They do have the Kaiser to run in that role, but as time and time has shown, if you shut down the Kaiser in the jungle, he doesn't provide a lot in those team fights. So Zhang Fei already picked up there by Loops. They just need another aggressive jungler on their side to be able to make those early game invades, and I think Loops should have this game as long as it's something like a long even a principal they go for the Jing, and yeah, it's another aggressive one that looks really good in this fight. I mean, again, Jing against Marco Polo, Princess Frost, and Dolia, he's gonna have a field day against these three heroes.
Oh my gosh, I love Loops' draft right now. I think it's very meta. I mean, Lady Chun, most picked, we've already talked about. Elaine, number 3, most picked. Jing, a little bit less, but has a 63% win rate with 8 games. What else can you ask for? And then you put Mithy on the Zhang Fei, and things are looking very good for Loops. I feel like Impunity's lineup, a lot more difficult to play, somewhat squishier. They need to get the right initiations, the right team fights. They cannot be making the same mistakes they made in game 1.
Absolutely not. It's the first game. I mean, we talked about Impunity had the easier to execute lineup, and they still lost. Game number 2, Loops has an easier to execute lineup, and they seem to have an answer to everything that Impunity has drafted for this game. So, are we in for a series again here, or
Share cuy. Match kedua CMF terus LPS mulai.
I mean, it really comes down to Infinity. They really need to bounce back. Being down 0-2 is almost a chasm that you cannot climb out of. You're going to have a tough time. They need to ensure that they have a good early to mid game kind of control them to give themselves a chance in this series.
Here, just for the viewers who are not very familiar with Elaine, why this hero is so strong is that he doesn't need any mana.
Ini kan ada teman main.
His mobility is top notch as well.
Cuma kilo poin sekali ya, atau 2 poin sekali.
When he gets that mark, his combinations of damage and sustainability
menyokot cepet gitu. Itu kan nyokot dulu. Kita menuju mata kedua.
So much potential outplay, right? Has a get out of jail free card if you're using it properly.
Jalan tengah cow dulu. Jalan tengah. Ada Kongming.
Like
Nge-review iya.
A lot of pressure, all in some trouble. Probably Ultima trying to heal up the best he can, 2 versus 3 fight, but ABH looks like he's still alive for now. So is Elaine. Elaine hasn't even used his ultimate yet, so he can figure out that situation. But the rotations came in vain from both sides. Nobody got any kills, so it's going to be slowing down for now.
I always find it funny when you see a Jing like that. ABH obviously understanding how to pilot the Jing properly with the mirror domain, but I always feel like
he's someone do this before. Nah, but he probably knows. He probably knows what he's doing.
Yeah, he's a pro player. He's not just talking about it. All right, but Loops here. Okay, they've been prioritizing top lane a bit. Impunity have been just trying to counter that. Realizing that Tempest could have a bit of a good lane. So Ashing is kind of pushing into the mid lane here, putting a little bit of pressure. But again, I think the tail of the tape of the story for this one will really come down to the bottom lane. This Shaolin Marco Polo or this Sherry Lady Sue, who's going to come out on top?
It's not much potential until they start really Charlotte or the Kaiser down along with
Jam 15 menit paling.
On the other side is pretty much the same as well, but they probably can just move the Jing. Jing can really stick towards Marco Polo to find first and down and get a kill. But the Lilia is always going to be an issue. Knockbacks are annoying, they use as well. So either way, unless somebody
Terlihat dari kedua tim saling
tries
ini
to
nih.
bounce you up to it, nope, looks like ABH will be happy with
Saling
that.
juning-juning bab.
Yeah, but look at Black all the way invading it, as well as the Ashing just cutting the waves, forcing Tempest to have a little bit more of an
Kan bisa,
awkward. He's forced to kind of
Nonton
farm under
aja.
the tower or tank it, and just kind of pushing that a little bit of pressure in that lane, while the rest of them,
Kalau
Ashing and
juga
Black, then go and invade the enemy jungle, taking what they can. So Impunity coming out with a different, strategy going into game 2.
Compared to the last, they are still behind by 1,000 gold though.
Still
udah
behind,
kunci muncul tuh.
but I mean, they still need to figure out ways to get back. Impunity have done a good job of just kind of at least putting pressure so that Loops is showing on the map. I think the scariest thing is not knowing where they are. Like ABH all of a sudden disappeared off the map. Where is he? He's actually trying to steal your Azure Golem. He's looking to go for the smite, and he does take it out.
That's the big steal, taking it away from Kaiser. Kaiser's not going to want to take a fight in the next upcoming few seconds. Lots of damage being dealt towards X0. He's not falling though. Able to use the flash. First, Kaiser rotates towards the mid to try and cut off towards Kank, but the ABH will also go there just to scare him off.
Just to scare him off. X0 will have to recall back home. He's done a great job of just pushing him out of the lane. Sometimes it's, you don't have to kill the guy.
Yep.
You just make him scared, and life again is like a resource. So
Bayangnya anggap aja jika lanjut.
it's gonna take time away from him. And if you're looking at this XP differential, X0 is level 6, Kank is level 7, so it's already paying dividends.
Yep, absolutely. Oh, it's never about the kill. Most of the time.
We had this save with the unbridled
Dragon
outburst,
atas malah di Riung
pushing him
ini.
away. Oh, but Mythic now, he leaping Savior's back under tower. It's going to be a 1-for-1 trade.
Marksman for the jungle for the mid. Not a good trade there for Loops. That also means that this Tyrant is in danger. Because Mithy has the smite. Yes, he does, but he's not going to try and go for it. As Black would secure his own smite. And that gives him
Ini sebelumnya kabarnya ada chat aja.
They got a better trade up to kill.
Wah sekarang tuh jadwalnya banyak kan. Dari jam 8 kan.
But top lane,
Apa harusnya arahin ke bawah aja ya.
they
Dies this cherry.
Naik tangga anjing, lalu kur tangga nanti.
That's
Lalu tik.
you're not expecting either of the marksmen to die.
That with lead is starting to grow. It's about 500 already. He's starting to kind of separate himself from Shaolin, putting pressure in. Shaolin doing the walk of shame all the way back to the bottom T2, but he's going to walk into 4-member of Loops, who uses the unbridled outburst to push him away, the flowing sigh, and he jumps right in. The nice knockup from Ashing to keep him alive, but ABH thought about going, and he does. He gets the mirror domain, and he slices and dices, and I don't know which one is real.
Really fast kill there, but at least are able to slow them down.
Gedenya
Beat them from
masih 20.000.
the bottom tier 2. After they get this top tier 1 tower, it should even out a little bit more, but looks like no more pressure coming in from the
Yeah, no more pressure, because I mean they don't have that top T1, right? The bottom T2 has been taken as well, and Loops can kind of dictate whatever fight they want. They've taken X-Hero as well, and ABH has started this, like, Impunity, all they can do is watch as their teammates die and just try to attack them, but Loops just get in and out like a guerrilla squad.
app for a team with a Zhangfei pick. Here, Zero will be able to get the top tier 2 tower and also get the Sage Golden buff away from the side to get that cooldown reduction anytime soon.
Let's sad. That's tough. ABH going in yet again. The mirror domain. They've got the knockup onto Black. Black trying to get out of this domain. Tempest is now doing the fight. Gets the meteor kill, knocks him up, but Tempest gets a little bit low. The death at sunset. Oh, he gets back to safety, and he gets pushed back. Shaolin with the Resplendent Revolver, not going to do enough.
For that kill, it was a bit too low and had to back off. But Kaiser a lot more tankier than we'd expected. He's not the top of net worth. He has his Cloak of Flames completed already, but he doesn't really have the next tier of items yet. Doesn't really do too much damage. He's just a giant shield for now. But compared to the Lady Sun, who's already at 7.2k net worth, that is a huge
Oh, the Resplendent Revolver right into ABH. He dashes away the mirror domain. He just finally gets picked off, and Shaolin will get credit for this one. And Impunity actually deserved that. That was a long-awaited ambush by them.
That was super fast. That was super fast play as well. Getting that might enable them to get this mid tier 1 power to open up the map a little bit towards their favor. Frost drops. Winter is coming on towards the tower and trying to ensure they get it, but looks like his ultimate to get out of here. If he wants to pops it right now, the chase is coming on. Or is there backup coming? No, there's no backup. He's trying to survive on his own, but the damage from Using way too much, and he won't fall.
Yeah, I mean, this is the risk you take when you try to split push. Tempest was putting pressure on that top T3, and he did quite a bit of damage. It's down about to like 20% life already. So he's kind of created space for the rest of the team, for Loops again, to just kind of push in the other lanes. And now it looks like they're going to look to take the Overlord here by Impunity. So a little bit of space given, some other space taken away from them.
Especially towards the top lane. You gotta make sure to buy as much time as possible towards the top so that they don't lose more real estate and become harder to defend their jungle.
Okay. That was a pretty good sequence of events for Impunity, right? The fact that they got the Overlord, they got ABH, they turned it also into a Tempest kill, and they've got that T1, right? Yes, they're still behind in terms of the net worth, but these are small steps, baby steps to get themselves back in the game. Impunity have done some decent things in the past 3 to 4 minutes, so they're giving themselves a chance to win.
Yeah, definitely. They are not forcing the issue like they did in the first game, so this is already in a much at all. So Loops is still in a good position nonetheless. They are still 4,000 ahead and looking to take more real estate away. But the Jing finishes off X-Hero. He's gonna fall. And Impunity will not be able to take the upcoming fight. They lose the mid-tier to tier 1 power and more of their buffs going towards the way of Loops.
Yeah, and this net worth lead is like grown, right? It's 4K right now, but let me just say, Sherry actually has backdoors your tower because he has the damage. He don't care. He's 10.4. Look at this. And then the next closest, Shaolin, 8.3, well behind Sherry right now.
Betul anjing, ayo 28
Has been playing like an absolute beast for
Ngechat namanya ya,
back. And when you give the ladies this much farm,
Unggul, live streaming di apa itu?
you know that you're in trouble. And Jerry is absolutely killing it in this game and the previous game as well.
Yeah, I mean, the team only has 5 kills, right? Sherry has one of those kills, but you know, ABH has been doing all of the work, so to speak, in terms of the kill department. You know, 4-2's there. Bush. So again, Impunity right now very reactive to Loops movements across the map.
Yeah, and if you're reacting, you're always going to be one step slower than your opponent. So Impunity needs to pull out a rabbit from the hat and try to get a favorable fight going towards them where they are able to secure the win for that fight in particular. But the Tyrant does go towards the way of Loops, and we might see a high ground attempt with this buff.
Okay, the rabbit that's being pulled out of the hat, is it worth 6k net worth? Because I don't think that's going to help them. That's not enough, right? They need more. They need like multiple rabbits at this point.
Or you're going to need a bigger hat.
A bigger hat. Or just a fatter rabbit, is that what it is? Alright, but Loops here continuing to just dominate. They've got a 6k net worth lead, pushing it across. Dowlin is going to recall back to safety. These Drakes are they have plenty of time, they have full control, they just find that pick-off. Impunity gets out of position with one guy, they turn it into a 5 vs 4, Loops can then just end the game.
Yeah, actually, that's exactly what Loops is trying to do right now. They know that they're stronger at this point, so they want a strength test, they want to take it away from Impunity. They don't want to give them more time to recover, and trying to end this game right here and now. Bottom lane got pushed out a little bit, so Elaine's there to fix it. But once the next dragon arrives, that should be the last tier 3 tower standing. Jing also trying to steal the blue jungle buff. It has not spawned, so he has to play without it for a little bit. But once those dragons reach, that's where your tier 3s. Oh, Jing going towards the back line. So much damage to Princess Frost, but he manages to stay alive for the moment.
Oh, stays for the moment, but he's going to be down. Ashing is going to be the first to fall. ABH will get yet another kill, rack him up. And it looks like Mithy will go into Unbridled Ferali form. He's going to just kind of create the path. They've already got all of the T3s. It is a matter of time. But it looks like Loops have made the call that we're going to regroup and come back to fight yet another day.
3-6 in terms of score. It is still possible for them to come back from this game. The lead is not insurmountable. It's about 8,000 difference at the moment. But without those tier 3s, it also means the creep waves are constantly being pushed out to the front of your base, and you're not going to extend on that lead without making a huge team fight happen very anytime soon.
Sherry here, 14.1k net worth, and then 13.6 by ABH. Oh my gosh, those guys are literally the 1%, right? They're super rich.
Yeah, that's all down to just the tempo that Loops had for the entire game. Had what, 6 kills in total? Only two of them were at the 10-minute mark, if I remember correctly. But they set themselves in a position where they can really take these fights. And Impunity is still trying to catch up, still trying to play the match game against the players. Oh, what is this? What is this trapper?
Chasing out Shaolin, he's going to be chased, the meteor kill knocks him up, but oh, Tempest needs to be careful, he's going to be focused down, he's going to be the first to fall, but the base is wide open. Nice play by Ashing, trying to slow it down, but the base is going to be taken out, and Loops will just take him out, and they will take game 2.
Again, another one of those games where really can't find any fault in Loops' gameplay. It's like they played standard, they played, how you expect it to play at this highest level, and
Match kedua, Imp Vs LPS. LPS berhasil.
Is that they need to figure out ways to end the game
Luar
5
biasa,
minutes soon.
kambing hitam.
I think that they were in full control. They were completely dominant, but it's one of those things where you gotta close it out. I mean, don't get me wrong. All jokes aside, I really have zero fault or things that I can kind of fix in this Loops, offense, so to speak, because they were just like controlling the game. They were very strong.
Absolutely, yeah. Like it is, their potential last game to qualify for, if they want to qualify for the round of 4. So you can't fault the team for really playing it safe, just dotting their I's and crossing their T's to make sure they make it there.
Yeah, Make sure that they do. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Right. Just secure the win. Don't do anything silly. Again, just discipline game. Right. Discipline Honor of Kings. Just make sure that you just choke them out when you need to. Again, find those gaps when they do make those mistakes. And Impunity was made some in the very end. But again, they just had full control. This is one of those games where they're gonna have to look back on and be like, oh my gosh, how do we deal with this Loops pressure? Like from early game to throughout, I think we'll see this in the gold graph. It was just very difficult for Impunity to get anything going.
Yeah, their jungle was just shut down from the get-go. Kaiser farm doesn't really do a lot, so maybe not such a farm-dependent jungle. Something that can early, something that can get things done around the bat. But let's take a look at the final item progressions here for all these players and Loops. What an absolutely scary Lady Sun there. Sage's Sanctuary, you got an Active Torment, basically everything he needs to end the game and then some on that Lady Sun.
Penasaran.
Yeah,